Hello, friends, and welcome in. My name is Sarah, and this is Cajun Lantern, where I channel messages from Spirit. If the title brought you in, trust that there is a message here for you today. I've put a very strong intention upon this message that only those who need to hear it at the time that they see it will be the ones that receive the message. Of course, my subscribers will receive the message, but they're of that collective that are looking to elevate themselves, that are looking for answers that will help them on the path, that will help them reach their goals, that will help them to become the person that they were meant to become. So, all of that to say, the person I'm speaking to today, and I hope you don't mind, I have my notes here. They are at this time facing what scares them the most. It's being likened to an initiatory rite of passage kind of energy, that crossing of a threshold. Right now is kind of the time that you might be looking at your life and saying, um, maybe someday you will look back on this time period and say to yourself, even though when I was going through it, it was absolutely the worst, but I'm so glad that it did happen for me and that I'm on the other side of it. But right now you are being initiated. And I know that sounds very dramatic and mystical, but the truth is that you are ready to face what does scare you. You've been through a lot in your life, and now you're to a point where perhaps you have been involved with something in a relationship or a situation, or you have read or seen something that has changed the way you feel about the way you thought things were. It's kind of, you're unable to unring the bell. You can't unsee what has been revealed. Your soul's calling right now is for you to do something that changes the energy of your life. So you have this initiatory kind of energy here, where maybe right now this is the life that you have been enduring. Only you didn't know that there was this other portal, this other way, this other place that you could go and start your life. Unfortunately, in order to get to this area, this portal, you are going to have to go through the dark night of the soul. And many of you have already experienced that, and you've clawed your way back from it, and you're ready to come to this place. So with your soul, it's calling in something that will change your energy. You got the Dance with Life card. And right now we are in eclipse season. We had an eclipse August the 12th, I believe it was. And we are going to be closing up that cycle here soon enough. August the 27th through the 28th, there's going to be a partial lunar eclipse. And so right now we're living through a really highly intense period of time where there will be transformations and sudden shifts. There's something really huge that the universe is setting up for us at this time. Not only with the astronomical movements, with the solar eclipse and the lunar eclipse, but there's also something happening within the collective, because people are tired of living a life where they are in a perpetual state of unhappiness. Nothing seems to be materializing that would make one excited to live. And the person I'm speaking to, you have seen beyond that. You know in your heart of hearts, deep inside, that there is something more, and you have felt it your entire life, and you have never quite belonged to any one sort of place. Like maybe you grew up in a family where you know, did the traditional things, but you were always slightly different. And maybe you had to cover up that difference most of your life because you simply didn't fit in. The person I'm speaking to, the energy here is of someone breaking through this veil of keeping themselves separate from what they know is out there for them. I hope that's making sense. Because the person I'm speaking to, when you do change your energy and put your best foot forward, you show up as the priestess. And let's see what I wrote down for my notes there. With the priestess, you're being called to step up and lead. So some of you that I'm speaking to here, you have this innate desire to teach. You're probably a healer of some kind. You are someone that is intimate with nature, with the planet, with Mother Gaia, someone who perhaps lives very much in a cyclical way with like the moon. Someone here is into ancestral worship, veneration, perhaps the Egyptian time period, the pyramids, things like that are of interest to you. There's a very ancient awakening sort of feeling here, like things, seeds that were lying dormant inside of you are now being resurrected. Yeah, like the person I'm speaking to, you just have always kind of known that you're a lot different than most people. And so this might not even surprise you that this is what's happening. It might be kind of like, yeah, I totally knew that was going to happen. The person I'm also speaking to, you either had some sort of psychic gift or ability, like being an intuitive empath, or maybe some sort of psychic abilities, a gift of premonition, maybe one of the clairs or several of the clairs, clairvoyance, clairsentient, you know, that sort of gift. And you might have had this years ago as a child, and this was conditioned out of you. If you're anything like me, that was conditioned out of me. So much to the fact that I still, as an adult woman, am surprised that a lot of the things I've experienced through my life, I was told I made up or I imagined, but truthfully, I was conditioned to not accept these things about myself because I grew up in a very religious household. And so anything that made me express any sort of gift, that was quickly squashed. So maybe someone out there, you also are experiencing as a older person, maybe these gifts are now coming in for you, and you are at the place where you're allowing yourself to believe this about yourself, and you're accepting that, wow, yeah, this thing that I've had my whole life that I kind of downplayed, maybe that's really amping up right now, and maybe you can't deny this anymore. I'm really getting that feeling of feeling like you have not belonged. You got the Mintakan card, longing for home, belonging, the original Lightworkers. Yeah, this is definitely a reading that is calling all light workers. together to unite, to succeed in your life path, your purpose, what you came here to do. Now is a time where things are shifting and paths are being illuminated. We are metaphorically leaving that cage that we have been in most of our lives, where we were conditioned to believe certain things about ourselves, whatever, our family or our culture wanted for us. That's what we were molded into. And perhaps you are now, if this is resonating for you, you are realizing that the cage door is open, right? The cage is open. Leave the cage, take your lantern, and illuminate your new path. So what does that new path look like? Well, you've been training for this for lifetimes, according to the energy. It's an age of light. Maybe some of you have heard of the age of Aquarius. And there's some disagreement over whether or not we're in that time period or about to be. But the truth of the matter is that humanity is really starting to see that we need to rely upon one another to get through the hard times instead of turning against one another. And I think we've been seeing that for a while, primarily in certain political groups, world scene sort of thing. People have turned against one another for a long time. And I think we're going to really start seeing world orders crumbling and dismantling, and we're going to see what we're really made of. And you might be one of those who will be called in to help in whatever way you feel called to help. It may be, having a YouTube channel where you talk about the things that you've experienced so that you can help people, give them a hand up from where they might be at the time. Maybe they don't know how to get out of a situation. And maybe you have been through that situation and you have all the best advice and you are willing and able to help. You might be someone who has it in you to, really make changes behind the scenes politically. Or you might be someone who really feels called to help with animals or with different social movements. I have to be really careful with how I speak. But those of you who understand where I'm coming from, that's what this whole reading is about. It's like an initiatory experience that you're being called by the universe right now. All of you who have had these sort of qualities that would qualify you to do big work. And everyone's job is going to look different. Everyone's going to have a different path. But your path is sacred to you, and it will evolve. What it might look like today, I guarantee you, is going to look completely opposite later, because we have an idea of what we might want, and we might lay the plans for that. But if universe has a different idea, well, universe is going to take your plan and they're going to dial it up quite a bit. They're going to make it look better than ever, something beyond what you can even imagine. But again, you have to have some trust and faith in that. And that can be really hard, especially when we've, really gotten the short end of the stick most of our lives. This is such a fantastic reading. And again, if you're still here, you're definitely part of those who are being called right now. You might not even understand why this message came up for you or what it means, but guarantee that if you are someone who has been looking into the more spiritual aspects of your life, this is an initiatory video for you. It's going to open up worlds for you. It's going to bring you peace. And you're being called to bring the qualities that only you, as a beautiful human, the things that you've lived through, you're being asked to somehow share that. It can be the smallest little thing, even just mentoring a child or taking an extra shift from someone at work who's really going through a hard time, and you have the ability to help them. It doesn't have to be big and showy. Some of the best things that have ever happened have never been talked about. And that's the kind of energy we're talking about. You don't need to blow a trumpet ahead of yourself and announce yourself. That's not you. That's not the kind of person I'm speaking to. The kind of person I'm speaking to, you are a very grounded individual. You have always gone out of your way to help people. This is why you are chosen. This is why you're being awoken at this time, to kind of shake you and say, hey, this life that you've been living, in this, I hate to say 3D, but a lot of people say it like that. It's kind of like the mundane, the day to day, just kind of going through the motion, the rat wheel kind of thing. That's the 3D, right? And Spirit is noticing that you are someone that, even through the worst of it, you have always risen to the potential that you were here to do. And so now you're being rewarded. And right now you might be saying, I don't feel like I'm being rewarded. My whole life is a mess. I don't know what's happening. This is how Spirit wakes us up, is things might seem to be happening to us, but they're happening for us. And it might be such a thing that we are not able to break free from a situation that has really kept us down. Sometimes Spirit, the angels, the ancestors, they will help us from behind the scenes. We may think that the whole world is crumbling as we know it, but it might be some help from someone who has been with us since before we came here, or someone who might even be working alongside us that we don't know about because we have forgotten, but they're waking us up now to alert us that this is time for us to come out of this time of waiting, this dormancy, and to wake up and to sow the seeds that we came here to sow. There is a great coming together right now. So the falling away of this person you used to be that just didn't really understand how everyone was so different from you. You are being called now to have your own soul tribe by being part of not only the spiritual community here, maybe on YouTube, but in other ways in life. It's looking like using your empathy and your intuition. If you're a person who has been through a lot of trauma, if you've been through a lot of trauma in your life, and maybe you have done some healing through therapy, through journaling, through meditation, you've always been on the outskirts of kind of that without actually really digging deep. And now you're seeing that this might be a path that is going to help you enormously to reach your life purpose, because you want to help people, like in the back of your mind. And so right now is the time. You're being asked to take a break from the things holding you down. Take a break from the things that are keeping you stuck, and recognize that right now is the perfect time to get grounded and sit without distractions. Sit with intention, perhaps with a notebook. Ask questions, write them down before you begin your meditation. Maybe play some music that really resonates with you. It might be something, a lot of people will play like a new age kind of music. It could be things like sound baths. It could be things like, I think that's what it's called. Sometimes when I'm in trance, I forget the actual words. So hopefully if I said it incorrectly, you can correct me in the comments. It might even be like a tribal kind of music, something that might speak to you deep within your soul. Sometimes I listen to music that's, from like Aboriginal music, or Native American flute music, or just African drums, or shamanic music, things like that. because I find that that really helps me get into this ancient, in touch with like a more ancient part of me. Um, Also, movement, uh, dancing with, notice you had the card here, dance with life. And I know with the advice in the guidebook, it brings out finding different ways to move your body that might kind of get you more in touch with that ancient uh, place that all of this is stemming from, because it's being called, it was deep seated in you before you came here, is what I'm hearing. So by taking a break from our phones, from our hectic lives, and I know it's really difficult, especially the people I'm speaking to now, you have been through something really transformational, not necessarily something that you would vocalize as a good time, right? But we have to be broken apart in order to rebuild a foundation for ourselves. So if this is sounding to you like, yeah, that sounds about right, you're being asked to answer the call. Answer the call. What is your soul calling you to do? And only you know this about yourself. There might be certain things about you that like maybe you rescue animals, or maybe you foster children, or it could be something like just stepping in when like a coworker or someone that you're close to, they just need some rest and relaxation. um, I'm filming this around the time that a lot of people are speaking about the Hayden Panettiere. I hope I'm saying her name right. Her death, and I'm filming this like a couple of days after her passing, and I know that there's a lot of attention right now on women suffering from postpartum depression. So maybe you know of a mother who just gave birth, or maybe it's a few weeks afterwards. Please check in on those mothers. And lots of times they're saying they're fine. But if you have anybody in your life that you see that happening to, please check on them. That's a message coming through right now. Because there's a lot of pressure on new mothers to do everything right, and people are really quick to give unsolicited advice, but they're not very quick to check in on someone to make sure that they're doing okay. We often think that even though we lived through childbirth or raising children, that we know best. Let's just be careful that we're not taking what we believe and putting it on someone. It's different times, different situations. Part of the people I'm speaking to, you recognize that you're at the place in your life where you can stand back and accept that you might be incorrect about something, and you are graceful enough to accept that and apologize. And so again, someone here is really good at reaching out and just checking on maybe people who are younger than you. Maybe when you were growing up, you were cut off from adult help, and maybe you can be a beacon for a young person who's struggling. Maybe there's a young person in your life who has a friend or a group of friends, and they're kind of, having a tough time making it financially. And maybe you have extra space and y'all get along really well. Maybe one of the ways you help is by helping these young people get kind of a hand up in life, so that they're not struggling so hard. It's really tough right now. So there's lots of ways that we can help people, right? And the person I'm speaking to, that's why I'm making this message, or that's why this message is coming through. That's why Spirit wanted me to record it, because they're trying to reach people. And there's lots of different ways that Spirit is reaching people who just want to help. Their hearts are open. They're tired of watching people get just the short end of the stick in life, and they really want to help and come forward. So let's see. Yeah. So why is this happening for you? Well, you're being asked to break the chain. There's ancestral patterns, healing, and rewriting the future. Yeah, this is great. That's the work that I do on my channel. Is I am trying to work with people who recognize that they have ancestral healing to do, and that by healing our ancestry, we can heal ourselves and thus heal the generations coming after us. Because if we can heal the things that we grew up with, the things that shaped us for better or for worse and helped us get to the place we are now, and we can recognize that we have work to do. We can help people that really don't know what to do, and they're really looking for some help, and we can offer that to them. In a world of AI where everything is manufactured, it feels like we as humans, we still have the ability to help. It is the one thing that we can do. We have experience. No machine can do what we are here to do. And I know by now I'm probably just rambling, but the messages are definitely coming through to trust your path. If you knew you would be supported, what would you do? Just a lovely way to end this beautiful message. Your guidance is divinely guided right now. The Akashic Records is being asked to being looked into at this time. If that's something new to you, it's a place where there are all of the life experiences that have ever been lived, and it's like a library of all of these experiences that we can go to and find out lessons for us, find out why things happen the way that they do. A place where we can discover past lives and things that have happened, right? Definitely, if that's something that interests you. There's this whole very enlightened sort of like a doorway. I'm seeing like a doorway with a beautiful, again, just like this. This is the idea here. There's a portal here of a life that's waiting for those ones who are tired of living in this darkness. And Spirit is saying, it's time. It's time to rearrange. Maybe the universe has rearranged a few things for you already, and you're kind of trying to figure out what you're going to do next. You're being asked at this time to speak with Spirit, make a connection. If you're into praying or lighting a candle, meditation, yoga, just sitting in silence, going out into nature, going for walks, sitting with your animals, taking care of little kids, holding an infant, working in your garden, helping a school child with their math if you're really great at that. I am not the one, but someone out there is. And we don't have to do these huge astronomical things in order to make lives a little bit better for others, do we? We can just be ourselves and bring that natural experience that we've already lived through. And, let's not be giving advice where it's not wanted, but if you see someone really struggling, you can go in with grace and say, hey, could you use some help? Because, I would love to give you a hand. I remember when I went through this. You don't have to come from a place of, well, you should have listened to me when I said, don't do that. And the group I'm speaking to, you know better. It probably doesn't need to be said. Some of us come from a place of feeling like we know everything that there is to know. And I'm speaking from absolute experience with this. And the older I get, the more I realize I know nothing. And when you can operate from a place where others are here to teach you something and mirror to you what you need to see, and then you can take it and work with it and not feel offended, not feel criticized, because we're just all here trying to help one another. So, for all of you who are still here, thank you so much. Please support me through subscription, through liking, through sharing. Definitely come back. I'm going to have lots of messages for this collective. You are a brand new collective for me. People who are just looking for some help getting through some hard times. We're about to get into a completely different landscape for all of us with this eclipse season here in August of 2026. If you're seeing this after this time period, that's fine. It's okay. It's just that the energy that I'm filming in at this time, this is definitely something that rocks us throughout our world, throughout our lives. And so it will still be applicable to you when you see it. All right. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye now.